Hi dear friends, Ingrid here from Open Journey. I'm back with another entry using the Rest kit, which has a very beautiful and much needed theme of resting, which is not just advised lightly. It's very truly very necessary. And as we're gonna see in the verse we're gonna work with today, there are a few key words in this verses from Hebrews 4, chapter 4, verses 7 through 11, that really attune our ears to these very important words, and we will truly see the necessity and usefulness of this rest. Now, as I mentioned before, the setup of these kits are weekly, to take a verse and let it sit with you throughout the week. Kind of takes the burden of having to do a whole journaling entry, and take a half a day, to do it, which often we do not have time for that. And because Bible journaling is such a beautiful process, it's healing and teaching in the same time, and it's really worth pursuing and make sure that it's not overwhelming. And that's why I redesigned this kit, so it allows time for the seeds to really take root in our hearts and minds. Last week, and I like to revisit, after I focused a week on a verse, I like to revisit and go again over it, just so we remember. So I went earlier and I just sat down and read the verse carefully, kind of paying attention to each sentence, and see what words really jump out, so to speak. So we see that it's a longer. Next week we have a very short one, but this one is a little bit longer, but it's so rich. There are many wonderful keywords in the text that really stand out. And like today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts, which is such a beautiful verse. And then mentioning a Sabbath rest for the people of God, then to make every effort to enter that rest. So these are words that are so convicting, and I love that it truly goes beyond the physical observance to point to a deeper spiritual rest in God, to this rest that God offers to his people through faith in Jesus, his grace and salvation. And it's cool that we have this spiritual rest that comes from trusting in God and his saving work through Jesus. So I thought this was so meaningful. I'm going to use the Rest stamp from the stamp set that comes with this kit. And as you can see, I didn't make this background. This background happened when I was working on this entry. And again, that's, as I was saying, that I like that I already, for the next entry, I already have a set background. Kind of, I will do other things. But I love that. I love that splashes of color coming through the page from a previous entry. They're kind of marks of previous studies, so I kind of like the continuity of it. I'm gonna use one of the illustrated verse cards that comes with the kit. Well, it's an add-on for the kit, and instead of using a plastic card to spread some paint on here, I will use this. I'm gonna use a very beautiful yellow. I'll probably be using some of the stickers that come in the sticker pack. So I just put a little bit of paint on there, and I want to do a beautiful yellow streak across. And I will be using this card, so kind of already will be blending in with this streak I made, so I don't have to paint them separately. So I like this kind of dual purpose of using this card. So I'm gonna let this dry a little bit, even though I really wanted to use the stencil that I had this coming with the first issue of Take 4 kit, which was the Word of God, as a kind of introductory kit for the series. And we have here two Bible verses. The Word of God is alive and active, and the Word of God is at work in you who believe. And I am using a new one because I do not know what I did with my first one I used. I was gonna use some sprays, distress sprays. This is Lost Shadow. It's just a very light gray. And I really don't know how this is gonna turn out, but we'll see, I guess. While I have it on there, I'm just gonna wipe it off, the liquidy part, as we can see what's under. And I wanted kind of a hint of this blue, but now the stencil moved. I should have taped it down. I honestly want just a little bit, just a hint of this. That's it. There's so many creative ways to use the stencil. So even though I did the stencil afterwards, it didn't really seem to matter. So that's exactly what I had in mind. Just a little shadow of those words, of those beautiful Bible verses in the background. And I would like to highlight this, to make every effort to enter that rest, that beautiful invitation, and reminder that it does take effort, and we have to make every effort to do that. I'm gonna use the very bold wood block of, well, they're mounted on wood blocks that I have, and I often use it. Enter. That. I'm gonna use the big rest stamp from the stamp set. That's an add-on for this kit. Enter that rest. I'm gonna use one of the die cuts for this kit. Now, these little paper boxes, paper containers I have, they are such a great alternative to the plastic ones, and I'm going to show you how I make these. It's just a cute little tutorial I found on Pinterest, but it's so cool. So I'm going to show you how I make these. I'm going to use this die cut from the rest kit, along probably with a few other florals from the kit. This is one of the verse cards. This is one of the illustrated ones. And here I was gonna put this one here, and I like how that, because I used it when I made the yellow strip, it kind of integrates with that. And also you can do journaling on the back of it. You can use a washi tape to to make a little flap. I like using the cross ones a lot. And then I can kind of journal on the back of it. I could put the florals under. The rest kit has some very delicate die cuts, so be careful when handling them. The delicate die cuts have such a beautiful effect, but they're also very fragile. Actually, this one, it will get glued on there. I don't think I will be able to flip it over with the die cut that's on it. I will do more journaling here, but this is kind of the bones of the structure of the page. And often I try to not fill totally the page, because if I read throughout the week and I get other ideas or notes that I want to make, I just want to make sure I have room for that. Also, a good way to maximize your journaling space is using all the cards that you can flip them over, or using post-its wherever you might need them. Although this colored one would be a good one if I need it. I like to just continue this bright orange. It goes very well with these flowers there, so I would like to bring it into the page. And this is just a watercolor ink, but I need a brush to kind of a finer splatter. You can control this better with the brush too. You can also continue as well with some yellows. I would like now to underline and write down that you have to make every effort. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and this is my start for week 2. I will add to it as we go, and hope to see you next time with week 3 in rest. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed week, and I'll see you next time. God bless. I want to show you how to make these cool paper boxes. They are so useful. I made a whole bunch, and I'm storing them in the same paper box. Depending on how you fold the paper, you can have the design on the outside or in the inside. If the paper is printed on both sides, then you're gonna show the design on both sides. For example, here I keep all the die cuts in this one. The design is on the outside. So they're so useful, and you can reuse them, refold them. So I'm gonna show you how to make one. It's cool that you use an 8.5 sheet. You don't have to cut it or anything. I print a lot when I design things. I print them out just to see how they look, and I don't want to waste these, so this is such a good solution. So first you just fold the paper in half, and then you fold it in half again. Then you take the folded flaps, you kind of fold it on its own, and then fold it back. Do the same on the other side. And fold it back. You take the flaps and fold them to the center. And this will be the flap that kind of keeps the box together. And you can choose to glue this down. This will not interfere with the folding and refolding of the paper box. You totally can skip this step. You don't need to do this. But if you just want a sturdier box, you can do that. Again, you fold it to the center. And this is again the flap that will keep your box together. And I can just glue it down. And then you fold this pointy part up to the top edge of the box, and voila, you can put it with your other stack, and when you need it, you take it out, unfold it, and there you have super cool paper box. How beautiful is on the outside. And if you want to fold it back, if you're done using it and you don't want to throw it away, you take the outer, not where the flap is, you take these outer edges and kind of fold them back in, just like that, and you store it away. Isn't this awesome? I love this little paper folding tutorial, and these are so useful for storing all the little things. You know, you can store, for example, like die cuts, all kinds of things, even snacks. So there you go.